Hello. I'm gonna go ahead and do a Paladin achievement, just based on the fact that my daily quest wants me to play Paladin. So we demand to be taken seriously. Summon 4 and then 8 different minions with Searing Reflection. Alright, let's take a look. Searing Reflection is a 7-cost spell. Draw a minion, summon an 8/8 copy of it with Divine Shield. That seems decent. Um, the first thing that I want to note is that the text of the achievement says to summon 8 different minions with it. It doesn't necessarily say to cast it 8 times yourself. So I was thinking, I bet Ursol could help make good progress with this. If I cast Ursol, and Searing Reflection is the highest cost spell in my hand, then it'll become an aura that lasts for 3 turns. So for the next 3 turns, I would draw a minion and summon an 8/8 copy. But if I wait until turn 10 to cast Ursol, then I could Brewmaster it. And that way I could play Ursol up to 3 times in the game, and that would give me 9 draws and 9 summons from Searing Reflection in a single game. So theoretically, I could do this in a single game. So if I want to get Ursol as quickly as possible, I'm going to put Tail and Ford Ring in and Caricature Artist in, so that any of those will pull on the thread that gets me Ursol. Certainly, it looks like I'm going to be using Living Flame for a bunch of these achievements, and Searing Reflection will be the only fire spell I include. I was originally thinking Tidepool Hunter, but honestly, Tidepool Hunter is just not necessary if the Ursol strategy works. So I would rather just have multiple different minions in my deck. And speaking to that, we would like to avoid drawing duplicates if possible. So with Caricature Artist, Brewmaster, and Living Flame, there are specific reasons to have 2 of each of those in my deck. However, everything else I put in my deck I think is going to be a singleton minion. I'm going to give higher priority to Death Rattles, and I'm going to avoid Battle Cries, since these things could be summoned directly by the spell. If I put other spells in there, they're certainly going to be 6 cost or less. And furthermore, if I don't manage to do this in a single game, then anything that I did summon from Searing Reflection in that game, I'm going to take out of my deck so that I don't summon that in future games, with the caveat, of course, that Caricature Artist, Youthful Brewmaster, and Living Flame, they gotta stay. So let me build out what the rest of this is going to look like. Be right back. Alright, so I just wanted to quickly go through what I put in order to keep the Caricature Artist integrity. The only things that are 5 or more are Talon, the Searing Reflection, and Ursol. I put in Ursol, Beacon of Hope. Basically, so I figured that Rush was a good keyword to have in here as well. And 3 random Librams probably couldn't hurt. Tendril Sage Swift, just a nice little death rattle. Tigress Plushy, Rush, Lifesteal, and Divine Shield. That'll be pretty good on a random summoned 8/8. Sleepy Resident, one of the better death rattle effects on a taunt. Nesting Golem. I'm presuming that even after the 8/8 version of this dies, the next one will be a 3/2, because I think it won't keep the stat buff, but yeah, maybe we'll get a chance to see. Illusory Greenwing, a taunt with a decent death rattle. Grillmaster, another chance to get my highest card in the deck, which, if it's not Ursol, will be a Searing Reflection, and if not that, well then something else I can use. Tar Creeper, it'll be a 10/8 on their turn. Messmaker, an 8/8 with Lifesteal and Taunt. A Floppy Hydra, Mostly just in case I start running out towards the end of the deck somehow. Plus, an 8/8 version of this that dies will become a 16/16 in the deck. Escape Pod, Rush itself, and can give adjacent minions Rush. So, even if this isn't what gets summoned, any 8/8 that gets summoned off of the Searing Reflection could potentially get Rush by using this. Just a Rush minion. A good draw option, especially since the death rattle will happen even on the summon. Just random armor gain, random draw, and drink spells randomly could be good. Dirty Rat largely to try to pull King Plush out of decks, but it almost feels these days like Dirty Rat specifically for King Plush is almost a necessity. Bloodmage Thalnos just for draw. I don't even really have spells in the deck to damage with unless they get generated. Barkshield Sentinel, if it gets summoned, it's an 8/8 taunt that can get more health. And this taunt already has Divine Shield. Basically, I just wanted to have something that was possible to do on turn 1. And, you know, if I draw off the Searing Reflection, I'm not unhappy. It's still taunt. So, the main trick, of course, will be trying to get to 8 or 10 mana in this meta to even do the thing. So, we'll see how it goes.
Uther versus Jaina.
The time for dreaming is over.
I'd like to keep the Living Flame. The rest of this can go back and see what I get. This is my second attempt. I got aggroed down the first match. Oh, I do have 2, 3, 4, so I can't really complain about that. I'll trade fire spells, sure. Well, it looks like they're fixing to draw 3 cards, maybe. Oh, only 2.
Don't worry, it looks great.
I'll blast you out of orbit!
I'll go ahead and get the other Searing Reflection out there, because if I have 2 Searing Reflections, then I can just cast one before I do any nonsense with this. And then getting a drink spell is probably not a bad thing.
I'll blast you out of orbit!
Well, certainly I'll do that. I'll go ahead and put that out there.
Find me in the dream.
And that, because why not?
None shall
Okay, well, I can go ahead and get at least 1 progress here.
Let's burn together. dream.
There is time for prey and time for action. Now is the time!
And I do kind of just want to waste this so I don't overdraw.
Flames. You are but a blip in space-time. Gravitational wave. Silence, cur! Feed flames!
Okay, I can start doing the thing.
Drink with me, friend.
Oh, I guess rush wouldn't matter so much with that, since it happens at the end of the turn, if I'm doing it through this.
I am the flaming heart of the universe. Silence, cur!
Time runs out on me.
So clearly I messed up. I need more copies of the spell in order to do this multiple times, because it actually uses it up to turn it into an aura. Still,
I wonder.
Let the heavens ignite.
but the spell does clearly count towards the achievement by making it an aura.
Time to raise the stakes.
The light dims.
Let the heavens ignite. Smoke ya.
My fire be burst. Die, insect.
A recurring
I'm
dream.
almost out of cards. Rise and let balance be restored.
Reporting for duty.
Insect. I'm out of cards. Strong as an oak.
Reporting for duty.
One from many.
Silence! You slay! Slay!
I don't know why I thought Ursol wouldn't use up the spell in order to create the aura. That was a brain fart on my part. So, with that in mind, the maximum progress you could make with this deck would be 6. And if you wanted to make the additional 2 progress in a single game, you would have to include the Tidepool Pupils. You would have to utilize both of them to get additional copies of Searing Reflection before you did Ursol for the second time. So it is still theoretically possible to get all 8 in a single game. I don't think I'm gonna do that. Since I made 4, I'm probably just going to remove the things that got summoned this game and go again. And since I only need 4 more, well, I still, like, one of the things that I summoned was a Caricature Artist, so there still could be duplication there. So I'll try to remember not to cast Searing Reflection myself and just wait for the Ursols for both of them. So ultimately, though, I think it works out. With a little bit of modifications, I would maybe try to do the Tidepool thing at least when you first start off to get those additional copies of Searing Reflection before you turn it into an aura with Ursol. Alright, have a good one.